Hey YouTube, welcome back. I'm Naisha. If you all new to me, thank you for joining us, and for all you that's been following me and Cliff Mecca, my husband. Thank you. I really appreciate your feedback, and I really appreciate you supporting our family. We really do love you and appreciate you all. This video is all about homeschooling. Okay, so yeah, if you don't know, we homeschool our children. We have 3, 5, no, I'm sorry, she just turned 6, 11, and 13. And, well, you can say my 11-year-old will be 12 and my 13-year-old will be 14 this year. And we've been doing it since, I guess, my son was 4th grade and he's going to 9th grade. So it's been, okay, man, I don't even know how long it's been. My daughter is 6, so it has to be 7 years. 7 years we were homeschooling? No, we were homeschooling since my son was in 4th grade, I believe, and he's going to 9th grade. So about 5, maybe 6 years. I think it's been 6 years. It doesn't seem that long that they've been out of school, but yeah, 6 years, or maybe 7. Anyway, a long time. All right, so the reason, well, I wanted to do this video is because a lot of people have myths about homeschooling, and like when we run into people that don't understand homeschooling and everything like that, the first thing they ask is this: you don't worry about socialization? I mean, out of all the things that you can ask about homeschooling and to be concerned about our family doing, you ask about socialization? Are you kidding me? So you're saying that them staying home, we can't provide socialization. We can't, I said that all crazy, but we can't provide that socialization. We can't provide a conversation. We can't provide giving them the means to communicate to somebody else. Like they're just gonna stay in the house all like year and not talk to people and not communicate with people and stuff like that. That's really ludicrous. Okay, ludicrous. So please don't let that be the first thing you ask me. I can see it's like a question like, you're not concerned about making sure they have adequate education? Even though that's kind of a joke to me too, because who says the school system have adequate education? And if you look around, you see people with degrees and they're still struggling and they're still going paycheck to paycheck. Okay? I have a degree, and has it helped me? It's just for show, I would say. I don't think it really has helped me, because I feel like that's another topic. I'm getting off track here. So back to the point. The point is homeschooling debunked. Okay? With homeschooling, let me let you know, each state is different. I have a couple of videos on homeschooling already. So I don't want to get into how you can homeschooling, because I'll just link that below in the description box. And like I said, each state is different. So when you homeschool, I know it's nerve-wracking. It seems like you don't get all the proper information to, educating your children and everything like that. But it's really simple. Okay? Because you went to school, you know what they taught you in school, and you know whether or not that helped you or not. Okay? So what I teach my kids is not necessarily what they want me to teach my kids, quote unquote. I teach my kids what I feel like they need to know and what they want to explore on their own. Because I want them to be able to explore on their own. I want them to be able to ask questions to different things that they find that they're passionate about. And I feel like you don't really get that opportunity in school a lot of times. When you question people, it's almost like you being defiant. That's another reason why. That's another story in itself. But back to the point. The point is homeschooling debunked and demystified. You teach your kids what you feel they need to know. Like right now, I'm teaching my kids, we are teaching our kids to speak 2 different languages, Mandarin and Spanish. We would love for them to even learn a 3rd language. Why not? You can teach your children how many languages you want them to learn. And you want to say, well, how can you do that if you don't speak that? No, I don't speak Spanish. I remember in school I did learn a little bit of Spanish, but I know enough to teach them. And you can get tutors. We have YouTube that teaches you Spanish. They have apps, free apps that teaches your kids Spanish. My son knows more Spanish than me. Okay? So being afraid to teach them something you do not know should not limit you, and you should not fear it. Teach them things like, you're going to say, well, I don't even have an education myself, or I don't feel fully educated myself. Of course you're not going to feel fully educated. You was educated in the school system. And even if you dropped out, because that's a whole new different story about the school system, which I'm not here to bash. I'm just here to let you know about homeschooling. You do not have to know everything to teach your kids. That's my point. You do not have to know everything to teach your kids, okay? Because like I said, I did not know that much Spanish. No, I cannot hold a conversation in Spanish. I can understand when people talk a little bit, words here and there. I knew colors, I knew numbers, I knew greetings, you know, the basics and stuff like that. I just taught him that. I started from there. And now he knows more than me. That's the awesome thing about homeschooling, okay? Mandarin. He loves Mandarin more. He started learning Mandarin after. And you say, well, all these languages, is that too much? No. And if it is, your children will tell you if it's too much. You know? But our brain is amazing. We are able to understand and comprehend so many different things. You can learn as many languages as you want all at one time if you want to. You have all the time in the world. Okay? My son, I'm talking to my oldest son now. He's about to be 14. He's learning Mandarin, and he catches on Mandarin quicker than Spanish. I know nada about Mandarin. Nada. Okay? He taught himself. How? How you say? Through YouTube. Through the free apps that we get him. Some apps we may pay for and stuff like that, but if you're on a budget, there's free apps. There's the library. There's computers. There's free programs. You just gotta look for these things, okay? You can do these things, and then you have to just fit it into your schedule because you might be still working. So you figure it out. That's the whole thing about homeschool. Figure it out, because the sacrifice you make today about your children will be the outcome in their future. You know, will be that you'll see the sacrifices you make now, you'll see them later in the future. So if you make no sacrifices now, then you're going to get what you put into it. Okay? And like I said, not knowing is not an excuse. Like I said, I hardly knew Spanish that much, just knew the basics. He knows more than me. I didn't know Mandarin at all. He still knows more than me. We just got him a tutor in Mandarin because we want him to be fluent in it, not only just to know words and understand other people talking, but we want him to be fluent in Mandarin, fluent in Spanish. But right now, he's just working with a Mandarin teacher. Well, hopefully I can introduce you guys to her later if she's willing. And she is a native speaker. Okay? She's not black. She's a native speaker. So, and we teach them about math. We feel like that's important. Make sure they understand the reading comprehension, books that we want them to read. We include videos, YouTube. I mean, they watch it anyway, so tell them to look up this on YouTube, or look up that. I really encourage my children to own their own businesses. Like even my daughter, I tell her too, she's 6. You know, she might not understand it fully, but I want them to own their own businesses. That's really my goal, you know. But if they want to work, that's their choice. If they want to work for somebody, that's their choice. But I'm setting them up to be independent of someone giving them a job and providing an income for them. I want them to be able to produce their own income. Okay? Now, one of the other things that we teach them is, well, they just started to go into piano, learning musical notes. I know nothing about piano, okay? And understanding, reading musical notes and playing the piano, I know nothing about it. But I found someone who can teach them for a good price, okay? So you can always find a way. Like I said, there's libraries, there's groups, there's other parents that have these skills that can teach. Maybe you can barter. I mean, you got to get creative, people. I want you to think outside the box, because I feel like we've been so molded to follow somebody else's footsteps, but not to create on our own. We can create on our own. Whatever you want, whatever you desire, you can find, you can get, okay? It is available to you, all right? But once you start thinking that stuff is not available to you, you won't see signs of it, all right? So it's really not hard to homeschool. You don't have to worry about your child being non-social and stuff like that, because there's things you can set up for your kids. You can take them to museum. They still have friends and stuff like that. But who said all of that is really important? I'm not saying that it's not important. I'm just saying, who says that is really important? This system was created not to make friends, really. The system was created to earn money. And this is a system. It's to earn money. When you have money, you have access to this, you have access to that. I'm not saying that it makes you happy. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that money makes you happy. But what I'm saying is, this is a system. If you don't understand the system, you'll be lost in it. Okay? You'll be one of those people that's struggling and depressed and unhappy. And I'm not saying the people that are wealthy are not that. But what I'm saying is, you'll be behind in this game, because it's a game. It is. Okay? So it's how you structure your homeschooling plan. And who says you have to sit down and teach them for hours like you're in a classroom? You do not have to do that. What is comfortable for you and your children? What is comfortable for you and your family? You do not have a structurized time. I do not have a structurized time. At first, when I first started homeschooling, I was like, okay, from this time to this time, we're gonna, do this, and this time to this time. But see, that was just, I think, an after effect of me being schooled. But you don't have to structure your time like that. You don't have to structure it at all. All day you could be learning. You can tell them to go read a book, or you can... So, it stopped. So like I was saying, you can go to the park, you can go to the movies, you can do anything, because anything is educational, and whatever is important to you and your family. And I always tell my children that the goal is to acquire as many skills as possible, because the person with the most skills wins. That's just how it is. So getting them to acquire a lot of skills so they'll have a lot of options. And that one of them options won't be to go in the street and do something that's destructive to themselves and other people. Okay? So we're teaching them to acquire skills so they can invent something that can be constructive to themselves and to the community and to humanity. I mean, that's the whole point. And something that can earn them a living, because we're living in the system. Unless you're going out in the jungle, if that's your goal, to have your kids in the jungle and live off the earth, then you need to be teaching them things of how to live off the earth. Okay? Now, and as far as when people talk about, like, okay, testing and everything like that, testing is just another, like, what do you call it? Like another part of the system. Okay? Just because you test well at something doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be the most successful in life. That's not necessarily true. Okay? So I don't necessarily believe in testing, because the system was set up for you to memorize a lot of stuff like that, but not really internalize things and then create out of that. So yes, when you're homeschooling, they have laws where they want you to test your children and stuff like that. But if you go to the school district and have them tested or whatever, most of the time what you're teaching them anyway is more about critical thinking, and it's harder than what they're teaching them in the school anyway. So, they do well in that. But I don't send them back to the school to test or anything like that. I buy the testing, whatever's on the list of what they said we can test them with, or you can get a teacher that they say is qualified to test your child, which is crazy in itself. Like, should we know if our children is you know, progressing or not. But it's not to go on a tangent about that. So, like I said, you can get tests. The tests are cheap. I mean, I've done seating testing, which is just $25 per test, and you can have it about, I think it's a month or more, and you can go over everything in the test. Just maybe you haven't taught that. You can go over the test with them before you actually take the test. You can make it an open book test. Who says you can't make it an open book test? I ain't seen nothing that says you can't make it an open book test. So, because the whole point of it is, the testing, I feel, is really for the education system to test you and to see that if you're smart enough to teach your kids. And that's a joke to me. Don't be trying to test me and see if I'm educated or not, like something like that. When we got our kids in school failing and stuff, and you need to perfect your system. But the thing is, they don't want to perfect their system. They don't care. They're so concerned about what you're teaching your kids, and they want to test you to see if you ignorant or something like that. But I'm taking it away from my point. The point is, don't be afraid to homeschool your children. And I know the system is set up where you have to work, so you can't put in the time like that to homeschool your children, and then you feel like it's difficult. Like, a lot of times I run into parents and they say, oh my gosh, how do you do that? You know, you got 3 kids, I have 1, and you gotta, how do you do that? My kids get on my nerves. My kids get on my nerves too. But the goal, you need to look at the long-term goal. The long-term goal is for them to acquire skills, to be prepared, to be independent, to be able to stand on their feet, to be supportive as a family. What is your goals? What are you in your family? You know, what is your values? What do you value in your family? See, this is why they don't want your kids educated in a system, because they can teach your kids what's important. They can teach your kids their values and their goals. But what is your goals in your family and stuff like that? What is it that you want as a family? What is it that you want to pass down through your legacy and stuff like that? What do you feel that's important? That's what you need to teach your kids. And you say, well, how can I do that? I'm working. Like, it's hard. This is a system. See, this is the thing. You have to step out on faith, okay? Because yes, it is hard to work on one income. It is hard to actually homeschool and work at the same time, but it's doable, okay? I feel like you melanated people, you are so smart. You can make it happen. You can find a way. That's why I'm trying to teach my kids to own their own businesses, so we are not confined to this time structure and so focused on, oh, we got to get money to pay these bills, that we forget about what's more important, and that's our children, because they're our future. And how we set them up now is how our world will be structured later, okay? So one of the other things that we teach them too is, I want them to know is carpentry. I want them to know about electricity and how you put that into a home. I want them to know about planting and herbal medicines and all those things and stuff like that. And we're doing that little by little. So these things are not expensive. You can go to the library and teach these kids these things. I mean, there's YouTube, like I said. I mean, I mentioned so many different things that you can teach your kids without you even having to know the basics yourself. But then you wind up learning too, because you see what they're learning and you sitting down, maybe there's something that they don't understand, so y'all watching it together or y'all reading it together, and you see that, oh, so you start learning it too, and you're able to maybe explain better because you have more life experience. Okay, so the name of the game is, to me, I feel like it's acquire the most skills. The more skills you have, the more opportunities you have to earn money. And you don't have to be scrapping and being a crab because you feel like this person is doing better or got more than you and everything like that. And, oh, I gotta support my family and I gotta feed my family, which is important as well. So that's why you put your time into what's important, and that's your family, and that's educating your family. Okay? So, I'm trying to think if there's anything else in which I just want to get you guys comfortable. Or maybe you guys can get together as a community and start a school that's like catered around homeschooling. And don't structure it. You don't have to structure it. Or structure it the way you want it structured. Like, say if you all believe in eating just vegan food, you know, you can put just, they'll just be eating vegan. Or maybe this is a herbal school where they just go to learn about herbs and medicine. Or maybe this is a math school where they just learn about math and engineering. Or maybe this is a science school where they just learn about physics and quantum, all of that, all those things, magic and alchemy and everything like that. So you can create and do what you want to do. Okay, guys? So don't get scared. Don't fear. Just know and remember that you don't have to structurize your homeschooling, okay? You can teach your kids what you feel that is necessary for them to strive in this planet, okay? And I know it's like not a lot of research out there, and it's nerve-wracking stepping into a new territory, but I believe in you. I believe that you can do it. I believe that you're powerful, and they know that. You just need to know that, okay? I love you, and I thank you for watching, and I'll come back with more homeschooling stuff, more things that we're teaching the kids, or more things that I might have found that would be helpful for the community. I love you, and